Hi, everybody, and welcome to Proline, America's longest-running sports handicapping show. Come to you direct from Las Vegas. I'm Dave Cokin. Jim Feist is here. It's post-Super Bowl week. What a game. I mean, absolutely incredible. We're going to get into that along with some basketball analysis. First, Jim, let's talk about what we did as far as accomplishments go over the past few days.
Okay.
Then we'll get into the game. You cashed your high roller total in the Super Bowl. It did go over. And that ends your NFL season on a 22-7 run, 23-11 on playoff props.
It was an amazing year. I hate to see it end, of course. You never want to see the good ones end. And it's been 3 straight years over 63, 64% in the NFL, which is pretty darn good. I had my high roller prop cash in the second half. That was the second half having more points than the first half. Of course, that includes overtime as well, but they did it in regulation. And I can't thank Atlanta for that offensively because they did nothing except that one score. Tom Brady did it, and hats off to him. He's a great quarterback. I enjoy watching him play. That whole Patriot organization, they never quit. It was awesome. I have a 3-pack of NBA totals available right now at jimfeist.com. 3 totals for $25, or you can call 866-546-9467. That's jimfeist.com or 866-546-9467. 3 totals, 3 games, 3 totals, $25.
Not bad.
No, not bad at all, especially since they're all going to win.
There you go. I have those exclusive plays that I do, and these are games that you can't get anyplace else. You have to call for these. Well, they're 13-4-1 now. This was the luckiest winner of the bunch. Was South Dakota State on Saturday. Really had no business covering, but the rules say you have to count it as a win.
So you have to collect the money?
Yeah.
Even if you don't really think you earned it?
They were down most of the game and then just scored a whole bunch of points at the end and won by 9, 76-67. So, man, it's a winner. 13-4-1 on those. I've got plays daily at jimfeist.com. Did well with the Super Bowl because I had the Patriots. We'll talk more about that in a little bit. So what we're going to do here, the offer is going to be the exclusive play, a full week of basketball, and the college basketball is going well right now, okay? And we're going to include a week of the Pros versus Joes newsletter, which I'll tell you about later on. That has been outstanding so far. Total cost is $39. So this is a real good bargain. Give it a call, 855-472-2577, and take advantage of this offer. It's a good one. Every Monday on our social media networks, we post a Proline poll question and announce your results here on the show. And this week we asked what was the best Super Bowl ever, and we always like to make these multiple choice, so we gave you 4 options. The one that just got completed, Patriots-Falcons 2017, Giants-Bills 1991, that's the Norwood game, Steelers-Cardinals 2009, Patriots-Seahawks 2015. So we left off some of the real early ones and made it more recent to make it fair for everybody who might not have been around for some of the early Super Bowls. Who won?
Well, it was actually a landslide, and it was Sunday's game. 46% chose Sunday's thriller between the Falcons and the Patriots. 27% chose the Patriots and Seahawks 2 years ago. That's when Pete Carroll called that unusual play. And 15% with 1991 Bills-Giants game. That was a game I can remember. I'll tell you a little bit about that. And 12% said the Steelers and the Cardinals. It was a great game. It wasn't a great game, really. The first half of the game was a total wipeout. Patriots looked absolutely awful. But the second half was so amazingly one-sided and exciting, the way it came down to the 2-point conversions after 2 touchdowns. So I can understand why most people said 46%. Tell you about that Bills-Giants game. That was in Tampa. And I went there with a friend, and I won't mention his name, but you know who he is. And we had a couple people who were going to meet there and stuff, and I got sick.
Oh.
I had great tickets and to the game, but I was too sick. I was actually in the hospital.
Wow.
I watched the game in a hospital bed.
That's not the best view.
No, it wasn't, and the nurses weren't that cute. So, but no, I was pretty sick, shaking. I mean, everything was wrong. It was just a lousy trip. But the game was good.
Yes, it was. I remember that game.
That was a good game. But
Buffalo fans aren't so crazy about the finish.
Well, Buffalo's never crazy about their
No.
Super Bowl finishes.
No.
It's pretty amazing how they. What's 4 they lost?
Yes, 4 in a row. But the fact they got to 4 in a row is still
That's absolutely amazing,
incredible.
right? Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore.
No.
But of course, the Patriots. I mean, they've been there.
Well, the Patriots they're practically there every year.
That's
It's
absolutely
amazing.
It is
When you
amazing.
consider the salary cap restrictions now and just the way the league's set up, the run they've had is, I think it could very well be the best in any sport.
You know,
that even includes the Celtics in the 60s.
I know. We could get into. There's so much to talk. Football season is over, of course, but this is very fresh. Coaching wise, the Patriots didn't win that game as much as the Atlanta gave it away.
I can't disagree with that.
There's no way the Patriots have that comeback if Atlanta does just a few fundamental things right. And we're going to have a little further discussion to pick it up on this, but I blame a lot on the coaches because they're in charge.
Well, yep. I can't argue that, but I'm going to.
I know you have a bit difference of opinion or additional opinion.
I'm going to go after Matt Ryan in a pretty big way.
Well, I don't blame you. But I also go around Shanahan. I mean, here's a guy that called some bonehead plays.
Right.
And he blew the game. If he calls when they're on the 20, forget all the other things that happen, but when you got on the 20-yard line, first down after the amazing catch by Julio Jones, and they're up 8 with just like 4 minutes to go, I think I have the right numbers there. Run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball, kick a field goal, up 11.
You might even score a touchdown.
You could, because their running game is pretty strong.
Here's.
But what are they thinking?
Well,
I mean, you're not really playing the Patriots at that
No,
point.
you're
You're playing the clock.
Okay, so that brings me to Ryan, and this is why I pin the most blame on Matt Ryan. Number one, he can change any play he wants. He's been in the league a long enough time. It's not like he's a rookie quarterback who can't, he's got to do exactly what the coach tells him to. But beyond all that, why is he snapping the ball so damn quickly? And that is strictly on the quarterback.
Snapping
That's
the ball
got nothing to do with the coach.
22 seconds.
What
Yep.
the hell? That to me is the definition of a choke, because that's losing your cool. There's no way you snap any ball before you're inside 5 seconds on the play clock. He's snapping it with 15, 18, 20. What the hell? And I'm watching the game. I said I was at Fleming's, and I said to the guys that I'm sitting with at the table, I said, "Why the hell is he snapping the ball so quickly?" I love it. It's great. Patriots are going to get a chance to get the ball back. At least it's just what you want. You want to get the ball back. Even if Atlanta scores, you still, you got to get the football. It's conceivable Atlanta could have run the clock out.
Yes.
And at least made New England use all their timeouts, which they didn't do. Absolutely terrible quarterbacking by Matt Ryan when the chips were on the line.
Totally
and there's
agree.
just for all this questionable play calling, which you can pin on Quinn and Shanahan, again, the quarterback can still change the plays, but above and beyond all else, no matter what the play call they decide on is, don't run the play until there's 4 or 5 seconds left on the clock.
Absolutely. Dave, you're 100% right. If you take the two coaches and the quarterback, all the blame is right there.
Yeah.
Right there. Now, before the game, one of the things that a lot of people were hanging their hat on and betting the Patriots was Brady Belichick, been there before, done it before, experience. They had a lot more big game experience because, they've been there 7 times between, and the Atlanta hadn't been there at all. So these coaches are new to it. Yes, Quinn was a defensive coordinator at Seattle, but that's different than being a head coach. Because the head coach, if he's really in charge, he can nullify all the things. Just like you said, Ryan can nullify a play and change a play. So can the head coach. And he said, what the hell are you calling passing plays for? We're in position to close the game.
That made no sense.
Absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah.
Now, that's.
And by the way, they were running the ball well all day.
Oh,
anyway,
yeah,
so.
the running backs, the offense, they were doing good. I mean, they were the better team,
Oh, there's
but
no
they
question about
were
it.
so far inferior coaching wise that they couldn't win the game, and it came down to that, in my opinion.
Well, I don't think there's any question that they lost it more than the Patriots won it, but I'm sure glad the Patriots won it. Now, from a betting standpoint, here in Las Vegas, and this reflects the whole country, largest volume ever, about 138 million. Hold for the books was just short of 8%. So
That's high.
that's a good. We're hearing, the in game was bad. The worst thing that could have happened was the game going to overtime and the 2-point conversions. Yeah, the books lost some of the props because those were very popular props. But nevertheless, when you're talking about a hold of
8%,
I think it was 7.9 or something like that. That's a
8%,
really
8%'s monstrous.
with 138 million in volume. That is an enormous win for the state of Nevada, and I would assume for books around the country whose figures we don't
Now,
know.
what does 8% hold mean? Just multiply the 8% by 138 million, and you got the idea. Well, how much was made
Now-
across the board?
Had it been Falcons,
Individual books, though, some actually lost quite a bit
right?
because of the type of betting.
Right.
Now, not every bookmaker casino actually has the same customers. There was one, I think it was a high roller from Hollywood, actor or something like that, bet $1 million on Atlanta on the money line. That was a nice pickup. I think that was CG Technologies picked that one up.
Yeah.
But there were other guys and a lot of other people betting on the other side.
In the in game, there was a lot of money came in on the Patriots and over.
Live
in the
betting.
in game,
Let me tell you how live betting works. I was personally betting New England throughout the game at plus 14.5 or more. Now, granted, before the game I had Atlanta plus 3, so I actually lost my Atlanta bet. I had made the over bet. I think I won 10 out of 14 prop bets, which was quite a bit. But it was the in-game betting, and this is what you really got to start thinking about. The game was 58, 56.5, 57, 57.5, 58, 59 before kickoff. Then late money came in and drove it all the way down to 56.5.
right? They ended up needing the over for the
Yes,
most part.
exactly. Now, during the game, there was no points scored in that first quarter. You got to remember now, you got a total that's monstrous. For most people, 58 is about the number they were looking at throughout the week. And you have no points in the first quarter. Now the total's 47. That's live betting.
Yep.
Guess what I'm doing? I'm betting over, and once they got up 21-0, Atlanta, I'm betting on New England. So I have both sides of this, but I have tremendous opportunity to earn. That's what you have to consider. Now, granted, a lot of you out there don't do this professionally. Dave and I do. So we're on top of these things. But whether you're professional at it or amateur at it, you still want to win. Live betting is a key now. It's how long? We've only had live betting maybe 3 years.
Yeah, well, the years
We've
get
always
mixed
half
together.
times, but
I know. I don't know. Maybe it might be a little bit longer than that, but not widespread.
right. And they use algorithms to make these numbers. It's because there's no way you can quickly
Right.
do this. There's programs. And it's based on time. So a quarter goes by, there's no points. So you adjust the time from 58, and they're dealing 47 because of the amount of time left. You got 3 quarters, X number of minutes, so many points per minute, so many plays per minute, et cetera, and it's algorithms. You can beat algorithms. So and I did.
And the whole key is trying to get yourself into a plus situation.
Exactly.
You've got you're not going to make a killing on one side, but you could end up getting plus money on both sides in a game.
Right.
And then you just sit back and whoever wins. I'll take my little.
It's all about
profit and get out of
earning.
here.
You know, we've said it many times before. The pros bet teams the pros bet numbers,
Yep.
and the average player bets teams. We're just looking for numbers. You know, if we can get numbers, I liked Atlanta in the game. I thought they were the better team. I questioned the coaching and the quarterback experience, which ended up biting me in the butt. But But, that's another but. But, different
Different kind of butt.
Different
That's-
kind of
that's
butt.
butt with one T. Yeah.
Right. But it turned out to be a good day for myself and my clients and Dave's as well.
Yeah, plus I happened to get a little lucky in the golf tournament.
Yeah, tell me about that.
Matsuyama.
I didn't know you, I know you and I played a lot of golf back in the day, but we were never really that good.
No.
But how did you?
I'm not betting on myself as far as golf is concerned. No, I threw a few bucks on Matsuyama, and he came through with a win. And
11-1, right?
Yep, and my pick this week, and I don't bet these big. It's just throw $100 on it, have some fun. It's not like my normal wagers on the games I'm giving out to customers and stuff like that. But I'll pick one golfer a week, maybe two. Throw $100 on them and have some fun because I like watching the event. And anyway, Matsuyama came through about 11-1, and I took Brent Snedeker this week.
Yeah, and
at,
I have
17-1.
I have Lefty. I got Lefty.
He's done well in this tournament.
Yes, he has, and I've got. He's still playing. He still can play, and horses for courses and stuff. And he likes this.
Beautiful Pebble Beach.
Oh God, I used to live there. I had a home.
Good tournament.
Yeah, awesome place.
Now this used to be the Andy Williams, right?
Pebble.
Or was I get them mixed up?
Well, Jackie.
Hope was
in Palm Springs.
right. And then
area.
Torrey Pines, maybe Torrey Pines was the Andy Williams. So was this the Crosby?
I don't know.
I've forgotten.
I can't remember that.
They should have left those names
This used
on
to
there.
be the AT&T. Is this still the AT&T now?
I just call it Pebble Beach now.
Yeah.
Because I don't. The corporate names confuse me. They should have left the old time
This is
celebrities.
where they have
names
the
on there.
Pro-Am.
Yes.
And a friend of ours, he won that Pro-Am a few years ago. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah.
Billy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You sure did.
Heck of a golfer.
Oh. Don't play him for money.
Oh, I've seen it I've seen it firsthand. I would never pick up a club
No.
when he's on the golf.
We know some pros who actually
No, he can't.
lost some money to
No.
that gentleman.
No, he knows how to win.
Oh yeah. All right. By the way, quick note. Last little note of the Super Bowl. NFL playoff history. Team leading by 17 or more points entering the fourth quarter had been 124-0. Make it 124-1.
Those streaks are meant to be broken, but
Yeah.
I mean that was an incredible way that ended. Unbelievable.
And I was with a lot of Patriots fans, so
So you guys were all happy.
we went from being down in the dumps and
I was with about 30 people, and I think there were 2 people on Atlanta. The rest were on New England.
yeah, where I knew where I was going to be a New England crowd.
The thing was, that we go back to that live betting, I had money on Atlanta, and I was really happy throughout the whole game. But by the end of the game, I had more money on New England at crazy numbers, at 14. I know some people took 18.
Yep,
18.
There was 18 at the live betting at the Westgate. It was 18 at one point and 12-1 on the money line.
Oh,
I didn't have any of that, but I'm happy with the result.
yeah.
All right, if you want to ask us any sports betting question as it pertains to Las Vegas or just sports wagering in general, go to ProlineTV.com and ask the question. 7 days of action for free just for subscribing, by the way.
That's right. Just click on the subscribe button at Proline TV and get a week of service free on me. Plus, go to JimFeist.com for free stats, articles, videos, my free fast facts, and plays from the nation's top handicappers.
All right, it's as good a rivalry as there is in college basketball. North Carolina Duke. We'll talk about that next. All right, well, here we go with North Carolina and Duke. Whenever these two teams get together, it's must-see TV. An incredible rivalry.
Yeah.
And two great programs, and I expect we're going to get tremendous excitement in this game as well.
Geographically, they're very close.
8 miles.
That's very close. and that nullifies a lot of your home court advantage because you take out the travel issues for the road team. I mean, if you have to cross the country or go 1,500 miles with a bus ride, a plane ride, a boat ride, and walking 8 miles, it's a whole lot different than going 8 miles to the stadium, and playing a game in the confines in the same basic city and everything. So it really takes away the home field advantage.
Oh, I agree completely. As intimidating as Cameron can be for visiting teams, one team that's not going to be intimidated is North Carolina.
Right.
I mean, it's just they're just driving the game.
Look at these numbers. Head to head, the under is 11-5. Road team 19-7 ATS. This is because the bookmakers give them the same home court advantage as they would against somebody else, and it's not correct. So your home court advantage in this game is a lot less. So you have to nullify that 4 to 6 points they might be giving them. And the UNC is 5-1 ATS at Duke. There you go. And the dog is 6-2 ATS in this. So it all leans to what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The home court advantage in this series, because they're so close together, is not that significant.
The road team won both games last year.
Yep.
And they were both thrillers. They went to the wire. Duke was, I believe, was 74-73 at North Carolina. They were the dog in that game. And North Carolina won at Duke 76-72. I think they were ahead the whole game, but it obviously, as it usually does, these two teams got interesting at the end. Looking at the matchup itself, North Carolina, they're doing what they got to do. I think this team's got some flaws, but they're a solid club. Off a nice win at home against Notre Dame, they didn't cover because they were big chalk in that game and won by 7. The previous game, they had trouble with Pitt, a lot of trouble with Pitt. They were 19-point favorites. They won the game by 2. So they're not ultra sharp right now. They're still a very dominant inside team. They score a lot of points in the paint. And Duke is going to have to find a way to stop that. Now, Duke has won 3 straight after losing 3 out of 4. And they lost to Florida State, lost to Louisville, beat BC. But then Coach K came back, and they get a win over Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh with another just horrible end game by the Panthers. The Stallings thing isn't working out real well there. And Duke's the healthiest they've been basically all season. I think Matt Jones is the only one who's dinged up now. Krzyzewski said he got hurt in practice this week. 3-12 against the spread in the ACC. Not very good. Everybody gets fired up for Duke, and
Well, yeah.
and I think that's going to be the case here. North Carolina would like nothing better than to go into to Durham and get the victory.
I think both these teams are going to be fired up. They
Yeah.
play each other all the time. It's a big rivalry. You got an 18-5 team against a 21-4 team. You got, Duke has had some problems, issues. The coach being out with the ailment, and then Grayson Allen, who's been a story in itself.
Yep. Although he seems to be settling down now.
He's an extremely good player.
Yeah, he is.
A bit of a head case, or a lot of a head case, and if they can control him, if he can control himself, which is more important, this is the kind of game I would expect the same kind of game we always get from these guys.
Yep, and we'll see if Krzyzewski goes zone, because they Duke at times has interior issues, and if North Carolina is controlling things in the paint, then I think Krzyzewski's going to go 2-3 zone and make North Carolina beat him from outside. Obviously, they can do it, but there'll be some tactical stuff going on here. Neither Williams nor Krzyzewski gets a lot of respect from an X's and O's standpoint. They're both considered recruiters more than coaches, I guess, because they get great players every year. But it's not like these two guys don't know how to coach. And Krzyzewski made a really good adjustment last year in that game going to the 2-3 zone. Probably won the game for Duke. And I wouldn't be surprised if he throws something similar out there in this game. He will definitely do something if it's not going well. But, if I had to play it, and I don't have to play it, and I probably, as of now, I don't intend to play it. I won't lock myself into that. But if I had to, I'd be looking at the North Carolina side. Just, to me, any points here are worth taking.
Well, first of all, it looks to be an underplay. History says it's an underplay. They both play great defense. They have exceptional talent. That's one of the things that you never really know how good a coach is when they get this kind of talent every year, and they do have top talent. So you don't know how would these coaches do if they had average talent. But they're not used to that. They play with great talent all the time. So you have that. You're going to be able to coach up the defense, which is going to create the under tendency that we usually see. When the games are going under, that means the point spread means more. Every point means more if you're going to score in the 60s or 70s, or rather than the 80s or 90s. So the dog and under would be the tendency to look at in this game. And we don't know what the point spread is at this moment. But I can't see it being any more than 3.
No, it's going to be short.
Yeah.
And here's another game that'll probably be short line. SEC, Saturday, South Carolina at Mississippi State. The Gamecocks off an absolutely wild 4 overtime game
What a crazy
against
game.
Alabama. Thornwell was just incredible for the Gamecocks in the game. I think he got to the foul line like 30-something times. Ended up with 40-whatever points, had a bunch of rebounds. This guy's a great player. Sometimes his teammates have a tendency to stand around and watch him.
Well, they don't
too
score
much.
points. This team,
it's all
they
Thornwell.
missed 17 in the first half. They missed 17 straight shots. I mean, I think they were like 5 and 31, 5 of 31 for the. I mean,
They shot
absolutely
26% for the game.
That's
Five-
that's high for compared to what they did in the first half.
That's from outside. 5
Yeah.
for 30. I meant on threes. 5 for 31 in the game. They got beat on the boards by Alabama. Avery Johnson's team played a heck of a game. Give him credit. You got to have 3 guards on the floor for South Carolina. Thornwell's going to be out there. Dozier, Notice, and the big kid Silva, who's a pretty good player. They don't shoot the ball well. This is a problem with South Carolina. And you know, it's funny. It's been a tendency of some Frank Martin teams over the years. They're really intense on defense, scrap like crazy. I mean, if it's an alley fight, you don't want to be on the other side. But they have trouble shooting the basketball, and that really, you know, you got to be able to do that at some point. That's why I don't think South Carolina is a team that can make any kind of significant run in the NCAA tournament. They just can't put the ball in the basket. And aside from
They do
Thornwell,
play good defense.
Martin's teams
Great
always play
defense.
good defense.
The question here is,
15 turnovers forced in every SEC game they've played this year.
they went 4 overtimes at home against Alabama on Tuesday. They're going to play this game against Mississippi State on the road on Saturday. The question here is, now they've played 24 games already. And you got the fatigue factor, even though these are young guys. You got all the practice time, you got all the games, you got all the travel. Now they're going, and South Carolina and Mississippi State is not that far, but still, can they bounce back off of a 4 overtime game? The legs start to wear out. And to play defense, you got to have good legs. You got to be quick and move to the ball and cover your spots. And if you're in zone, you got to, the whole thing. Mississippi State is a team that likes to get up and down the floor a little bit more than South Carolina does. What do you think the number's going to be on this game? Because I like the home dog if they're a dog.
Yeah, I haven't made a number for the game yet, but if I were going to make the game, I think I might make Mississippi State, considering, and the odds makers will factor this in. You know, the odds makers are aware of the 4 overtime game. And even with time off, I think they could adjust the points, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's -1. Mississippi State's got one really good player.
You just picked the winner.
Yeah, I think if you pick the winner in this game, you're probably going to cash a ticket. Weatherspoon is a heck of a player for Mississippi State. Got hurt early in the season, played, and the interesting thing is, when he first got hurt, that was it, out for the season. And I'm not exactly sure what they did, but he played the very next game. Decided I'm not going to wouldn't have the surgery until after the season. He's gutted it out. He's played very well, and Witherspoon's averaging 18 points a game. And I'll tell you what, I think his stock is going up for the next level because of his commitment to the team.
Sure.
NBA teams are going to look like that. He could have easily said, well, I'm not going to take any chances here and go out for the surgery. And the fact that he was out there the very next game is going to tell NBA scouts this is a guy who's, team first guy.
You got some character.
Yep. Solid character guy. Now, Mississippi State, like a lot of teams in the SEC, is extremely inconsistent. That's been a hallmark of this conference once you get past the cream of the crop. They beat Tennessee, big win for them at home. And then on Auburn, they go to Auburn on Tuesday, and they can just get blasted. And you don't know, I'm not going to knock Tennessee on that because, Mississippi State, because quite frankly, good luck handicapping Auburn.
Oh, that's another.
I mean, they are Jekyll and Hyde as it gets.
They're psychos. I mean,
Yeah. I just throw teams like that basically out. It's like I have no idea which Auburn's going to show up on which night.
No,
so I'll
the
just
only
leave
thing
it
you
alone.
can do with stuff like that is if you can find a place, a situation
Yep.
that they do well in, like for example, a road dog, home dog, that kind of thing, or whether they do poorly or well against a certain team, or you can throw in a revenge factor. But when inconsistent teams should not be carrying too much of your money, because they are inconsistent and your results will be inconsistent.
Yeah, home teams won this series last year. Each team winning pretty comfortably in the host role. I think they were both 10-point decisions. South Carolina winning at home, and then Mississippi State winning at home.
I think South Carolina is going to be in trouble in this game.
Wouldn't surprise me.
The loss, the 4 overtime, and the terrible shooting they had in the game. They aren't good shooters anyway. You get tired legs. You don't play defense as well, and you don't shoot. You shoot the ball with your legs. I mean, you really need to get elevation. So I mean, you're not sitting out there like old Bob Cousy with the 2-hand set.
No, they don't do that
This
anymore.
is no. Really?
I do remember that. Weatherspoon can offset the star for Thornwell for South Carolina. So if you can go even with Thornwell, you got a pretty good chance to beat this team.
I got to ask a question that's not in our script here, our notes. In 10 days, we're going to have the conference tournaments starting. In about 10 days.
The smaller conferences, right?
The kids, they look forward to those. That's a big deal. And we've noticed, at least I've noticed in the last 7 days, a little bit more inconsistency with some of these schools. And my thinking is, I mean, our kids are 18 to 22 years old, generally, that's the range. And they are looking forward to that. Because especially teams that they're not going to win the regular season thing, so they're thinking, oh, we can win the tournament.
That's our chance.
And even the teams that are at the bottom that can get in, that's their chance.
We see somebody do it every year. I mean, last year, Austin.
It's the third season.
It was Austin P last year out of the Ohio Valley. Had a terrible regular season, and then all of a sudden they went nuts in the conference tournament and ended up getting to the NCAAs.
That's right. So I think you have to put a little bit of a lid on your bankroll at this time for some of these teams.
This is my favorite time of year. I love rematches. I have some angles that I use that do extremely well. The math at this point, I think, is the soundest it's going to be all season because we got a lot of conference games in, and I basically have thrown out the non-conference portion of the season.
The rabbit season
only
doesn't
looking
exist.
at the at stats in conference games, where you don't have to worry about strength of schedule or any of that stuff because they're all playing the same teams.
Take a look at the Fast Facts.
Yeah.
And you'll see on the right side of the Fast Facts, you'll see the last 8 and the last 4. Well, and then you hit the expanded and open up and just look at the conference games. That's what Dave's talking about. Those conference game numbers are what you really want to focus on because that's all we're dealing with. We're not talking about the Rabbits back in November when they're playing and they're winning by 40 or 50 or whatever, or games that they're testing out different lineups and the coaches making manipulations and stuff like tempo and everything else. This is conference stuff. That's what you should focus on.
We have free plays every single day on a recorded message and also by text. I'll give the phone number. It's recorded message. You don't have to talk to anybody. 888-294-1970. And also, we've got text available.
You can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Jim Feist Sports. And if you like to get a game sent right to your cell phone, text GAME, G-A-M-E, to 25827, and we'll send you right to your cell phone, a free play, GAME, to 25827.
And that's it. So thanks for joining us. We always like to say that, and we hope we'll see you again next week with another edition of Proline.